Most corporate training feels like a toll booth. You sit through the slides, take a mandatory quiz, and get back to your actual job as fast as possible. We all know the routine. You click next until the module ends, retain almost zero information, and abandon the course entirely if the platform allows it. The industry accepts high drop-off rates as the standard cost of doing business. But look at this data. A recently deployed custom program saw learner drop-off plummet to just 3%. Beyond completion, it measured an 87% behavior change, 40% competency boost, and 293% growth in staff engagement. These metrics suggest that training doesn't have to be a static compliance hurdle. When the rules of engagement are rewritten, the content becomes a tool that significantly improves how a team actually performs. High-performing courses start by removing the option for passive consumption. There is no way to just press play and walk away. Instead, these programs require the user to actively manipulate the information to proceed. You are forced to differentiate complex options and solve problems in real time. At the micro level, a single UI action, like a drag-and-drop scenario, is mathematically mapped to test multiple specific outcomes. This constant input creates a feedback loop that effectively traps the learner's attention and keeps them focused. Linking physical input to specific content decisions prevents the autopilot state common in digital learning. The brain has to process each piece of information before the next segment can even appear. But even the best digital interface is an isolated environment. To make the material stick, the learning has to escape the vacuum of the screen. One method is the strategic use of digital badges, credentials that learners are encouraged to publicly share on professional networks. This provides public social proof. It validates the learner's effort and reinforces the organization's reputation for investing in its people's growth. This is paired with structured discussion guides provided to managers. These tools help leaders facilitate conversations about the training during weekly one-on-ones and team meetings. Externalizing the training into public spaces and managerial relationships turns an isolated task into a shared organizational habit. However, these conversations only matter if the training feels relevant. If the environment doesn't mirror the friction of daily work, the new skills won't survive the transition back to the floor. To solve this, effective curriculum design integrates hard concepts, like financial reporting or complex regulatory requirements, directly into practical, everyday scenarios. These environments use gamified elements to force learners to react to uncertainty. Navigating a shifting environment builds the quick decision-making needed for their specific roles. This exposure leads to a steep positive correlation with learner confidence. The more a learner practices in these realistic scenarios, the more confident they become in applying that knowledge. Confidence is the ultimate leading indicator of success. Without it, perfectly memorized data won't translate into actual behavior change when a real crisis hits. The core takeaway is that true behavioral change isn't a software feature. It requires an interconnected ecosystem. Engineering a zero drop-off course is a science. It relies on a precise balance between the learner's cognitive load and the digital framework used to deliver the content. Failing to implement this holistic approach guarantees a return to the old standard, expensive training modules that are widely ignored or quickly forgotten. This methodology is why industry leaders like Karanji Infotech focus on architecting custom solutions. They use these specific psychological and technical insights to ensure learning translates into performance. When digital learning is built with these principles, it stops being a mandatory obligation. It becomes a measurable way to improve competency and drive better results across the entire organization.